Hi everyone, welcome to your love reading for the collective. Before I start, I would like to thank everyone for being here today. It really means a lot and I really appreciate it. Let's go ahead and see what the cards reveal for the collective. So we have the King of Wands, Judgment, Nine of Swords, Six of Pentacles, Four of Pentacles, Queen of Wands, Ten of Swords, Page of Pentacles, and the final card is going to be the Ace of Swords. Okay, so before we get into the reading, there is a message you need to hear. So there's an energy around for this week of big changes, and what they're asking you guys to do is just go with it. So if you're a person that does not like change and you're like stuck to a routine and you avoid change at all costs, then you're probably not going to like this week. In fact, this is an energy that's not just around for this week. There's just like for the next, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 weeks, there's some big changes coming in. But they're telling me that some of you are not going to want to embrace some of these changes because you like holding on to what you have. And there's nothing wrong with liking your life, but they are trying to make things better for you. But this is going to require you to just kind of like have faith. So if something does not go your way this week or the following week, just go with it because the end result is going to be positive. There's just, they're telling me there's just change coming in, but they have to be willing to accept it. And those who are just kind of really stubborn and I don't want change in my life, everything is fine the way it is now. When it's time for change, you can't really tell Spirit to just, don't bring anything new in. And things are still going to move along. So they just keep telling me that those people that do not like change, you're not going to like what's coming up for you in the next few weeks. Yeah, a message I was getting is that if you're like really like persistent on keeping up with something, I don't want change in my life. Everything is fine the way it is now. When it's time for change, you can't really tell Spirit to just, don't bring anything new in, and things are still going to move along. So they just keep telling me that those people that do not like change, you're not going to like what's coming up for you in the next few weeks. Yeah, a message I was getting is that if you're like really like persistent on keeping up with something, I don't know, this is a general reading, so it's hard to tell what, the message I'm getting, what this is about. If you're really persistent as far as like you want to keep doing like the same thing, and even though all the signs around you are telling you like, no, like this is not the right path for you, if you're really kind of persistent and like, I'm not going to change, I'm going to keep doing the same thing, I'm going to keep doing the same thing, then things are going to have to get like really difficult until you finally get the message. Now, as far as love and romance, this looks really promising and beautiful. The energy is there for you to meet someone that you can have a significant relationship with. And, the energy is not always there. That's something that they want you guys to understand. It's not always there. Sometimes it's just not the right time for this week, possibly the week after that. There's just the energy there for you to meet someone who can play a significant role in your life. It's like you're very close to crossing paths with someone who could be, your life partner, who is, a karmic soulmate or a twin flame. I also keep getting that it's a good time to beautify yourself for love. So this can mean different things. It can mean that you beautify yourself from the inside, that you release, things from the past so that you're ready to accept new love. It could also be that you beautify yourself in other ways physically, that, you get yourself all dolled up and you go out. It just seems like the energy is there for love and beauty. And any new people that you meet, like in the next few weeks, I'm getting that these are important people in your life. Now, as far as finances, this is, a little bit trickier. I keep getting that there has to be like a sacrifice. They're saying that things are going to get better, but there has to be a sacrifice. So it could be, if you're saving up for something significant like buying a new car or adding on to your home, you may have to sacrifice your summer vacation or something like that, or a shopping spree that you had in mind. They just keep telling me that there has to be a sacrifice when it comes to money. They are helping you along as far as making things better, but it's like, again, this is kind of connected to the first message. If you keep doing the same thing, perhaps like in the way that you spend your money, then you're going to have the same result. You're going to be, you know, kind of scraping around for money, not really making ends meet. Something has to change, I'm getting, with your finances as well. Like you have to be more careful. And I keep getting that a sacrifice has to be made. And it doesn't mean it's something huge. It could be, you know, that you don't spend on small little things that you usually like to splurge on. And this could even be, you know, it could be that this is for something big. Like I said, maybe you're planning on buying a house or a new car. But I also feel like they're just giving you general advice, like, you know, like be wise with your money, because I just keep getting that there's kind of big changes happening, and I feel like this will affect your finances. Okay, so let's get into the reading. It's interesting that we have the Four of Pentacles as the heart of the reading. You know, I was kind of getting this message that right now it's time to kind of be careful with your money. And it's interesting that we have quite a few Pentacles cards in here. Another thing that's interesting, and I feel like this happened recently, we have the King of Wands and the Queen. So that's a lot of like really kind of assertive, fiery energy. So this is not a time to kind of be afraid. I mean, definitely the energy of fear is here. It could be that you're worried about your finances or about your career, even your love life. It's not a time to give in to these fears here, because there's a lot of kind of forward, take action, fiery energy. So the King of Wands is the first card, and this is all about kind of stepping up to the plate. This is all about taking the lead and kind of knowing that no one's going to fix it. No one's going to make it better except for you. You have to be the one to make things happen. You have to really kind of see yourself as a leader. You have to take action. Now we also have the Judgment card, and ironically, this is the only major arcana in this reading. Believe it or not, it's a Judgment card. So this is a new beginning. This is a new beginning. This is a second chance to be happy. This card usually comes up when you've been in a dark place, when you've hit rock bottom, when things have just not been pleasant for you. You've just not received. You've not been happy. You know, it's kind of like an alarm going off, letting you know that it's your turn again. You can try again to be happy. But I see here that there's an energy that could possibly like motivate you to take action, to take that second chance, that opportunity. But also there's fear here. We have the Nine of Swords, which is all about anxiety and worry and kind of really kind of focusing on things that you don't want to see happen, things that you're really stressed about. So I almost feel like there's an opportunity lined up for you this week, an opportunity for you to receive, to have something significant, because it is a major arcana and you have a choice. You can either take action, really kind of step up to the plate and know that you're the only one that can make things better, make decisions, I'm also hearing. Or you can kind of give into this fear here where you don't want to put yourself in a vulnerable place again. You just kind of want to hide out and you feel like you have too much to lose. Now moving on to this row here, Six of Pentacles, Four of Pentacles, Queen of Wands. Now we kind of have that same message with the way the cards are placed, because fear is right here in the middle and it is the heart of the reading, you know. And so fear is here, but look at what's, you know, on either side of it. On either side of it, we have the Six of Pentacles, which is a card of help. It is a card of blessings. Usually this is kind of like a blessing from the universe. You receive something material. So here, you know, this is telling me that you're worried about something material. So you might be worried about your finances. You might be worried about your career, your relationship, and you're holding on really tight. And there's a lot of anxiety about this. I mean, look at this going on here down the center of the reading. But this is a card of receiving. So I feel like you don't have to hold on so tight to your material possessions or to your fears, because you are receiving, whether you're receiving money or you're receiving help, you're receiving abundance in some way. But you also, again, you have the Queen of Wands saying that, I mean, you're going to receive, but not if you're really in that place of fear. You really have to be more self-confident and really kind of believe in yourself and believe in the universe that you're going to receive. If you really kind of convince yourself that it's a lost cause, and you're not going to receive anything, you've lost and, you give up, then even though that opportunity is there, then you don't receive anything. So there's a strong message in this reading that there is plenty of help, plenty of blessings, headed your way, but only if you really believe yourself capable of manifesting these things. I literally, see fear like in several places throughout this reading. I see it in the 9 of Swords, I see it in the 4 of Pentacles, and then I see it down here in the 10 of Swords, but very positive cards everywhere as well. So let's move on to this row here. We have the 10 of Swords, the Page of Pentacles, and the Ace of Swords. So the 10 of Swords is very, it's a difficult card because it means that you have been, in a really kind of difficult place. You've been betrayed, or you have not succeeded in something. You've been down, and that's the energy that is generally associated with judgment. You've been down, you hit rock bottom, and that is the energy of the 10 of Swords. This is always a message that it can't get any worse. So, it's lined up here with a lot of fear-based cards, 10 of Swords, 4 of Pentacles, 9 of Swords. These are all fear-based, but the 10 of Swords is always the message that, even though you're worried, you're down, it's not going to get any worse. You've already experienced the worst, and the only thing that's left is a new beginning. I mean, it's a 10. After 10 is an ace, which is a new beginning, and we have the Page of Pentacles here. And the Page of Pentacles is kind of, a card to me. It's usually associated with like paying attention to details. I'm kind of getting the message that for this week, there could be communication, because the pages are sometimes, they represent communication. There could be communication about something involving either your career or your finances. That changes everything. I mean, look, we have an ace here, the Ace of Swords. So this could be, that you're feeling down, you're feeling really anxious about either your career or your finances or your love life, but you could receive some type of communication here that completely like crosses out this energy from the 10 of Swords, and suddenly you're in an entirely different place mentally. Because the Ace of Swords represents like a new way of thinking. It represents mental clarity. It could be that some communication comes in that finally lets you know exactly like where you stand with your job or with your finances. So, but I want to go back to this card here, because the Page of Pentacles, it does represent kind of having your eyes open and gathering knowledge and studying, looking at all the details. And I feel like there are opportunities this week. I feel like there are opportunities. I keep getting financial opportunities, career, but I mean, I feel like there's something kind of holding you guys back. Like there's fear. There's fear of moving into the unknown, or you don't really believe in something that you want to pursue. I don't know. It's hard to tell because it's, it's a general reading. But I just feel like there's something new there for you to grab. But it's only available if you really kind of believe in yourself, if you really take action. I feel like you can either, and it's basically that message is like everywhere all over this reading. You can either take action and opportunity, take action on it, or you can not take action on it and then not receive and kind of stay in this energy of the 10 of Swords, where you just kind of like defeated and just kind of like completely given up on whatever it is that you're trying to pursue. Let's go ahead and move on to the love reading. The cards for you are the 3 of Cups, Knight of Pentacles, Queen of Cups, Page of Cups, 7 of Cups, 8 of Wands, King of Swords, 6 of Cups, and the Wheel of Fortune. Okay, so the heart of the reading is the 7 of Cups. So I feel like, when it comes to relationships this week, some of you may not know where you stand. I feel like, the 7 of Cups, it represents confusion. It just means also that you're very emotional. And there are quite a few Cups cards in this reading. So it seems like a very kind of like emotional week. I even kind of feel like those people who are usually not very emotional, something's going to get to you this week. Something's going to get to you. And I feel like this could be you know, a push from the universe to get you to where you need to be. Remember, there's a message from Spirit that even if you don't like change, it's still going to happen. So you can either resist it or just go with it. And the change is here in the Wheel of Fortune. But let's start with the top row here. We have the Three of Cups, the Knight of Pentacles, and the Queen of Cups. I feel like for some of you, there could be a strong pull towards like bringing you together with someone who's a water sign. We do have a few court cards in this reading, so it could be either a water sign, an earth sign, or an air sign. But then I'm getting a message it could be a water sign. The Three of Cups, you know, this is a very kind of loving energy. The Three of Cups, you know, it has to do with marriage, children, has to do with happiness and joy and laughter. And then there's the Queen of Cups over there, which could represent a woman or a man who's a water sign, whether it's sun, moon, or rising. And I just kind of feel like this Knight is not so much of a court card, but as like movement. And this Knight represents kind of slow movement. It means that you're not really kind of moving at a fast speed when it comes to your manifestations, but you're making very slow progress. And I feel like either a relationship that has hit a bump or two is slowly getting better. I feel like because of the cards around this, that the relationship is surrounded by a lot of loving energy. I feel like both partners are very emotionally invested. But I also feel like, just like in general, when it comes to your love life, married or single, you're moving in the right direction, whether you're aware of it or not. I feel like they're moving you towards a particular partner that this is like the one. This is your life partner, if not a very karmic soulmate or a twin flame. This is someone that you're going to spend the rest of your life with. Even if it doesn't seem that way, you are moving towards this partner. Okay, so second row here, Page of Cups, Seven of Cups, Eight of Wands. So again, there's that confusion. And for some of you, you may kind of feel like you don't know what's going on in your relationship, or you don't know what's going on in your marriage. You may even have other options. Sometimes the Seven of Cups means that you're just kind of like, there's too many choices and you can't decide. Maybe you're single and dating and you don't know who you belong with. Obviously there's love around you, whether you're single or married, even though you're confused and you don't know where you stand, or you're just kind of really emotionally overwhelmed by what's going on in your love life right now. Love is here. The Page of Cups represents a new love coming into your life, or a relationship being rekindled. And this here, you know, the Eight of Wands, it represents things finally moving along, things finally moving forward, especially after a period of either not being in a good place or being stuck. So I feel like some people are confused because you have been stuck in your love life. But that is about to change because of the Page of Cups. You've either been stuck as far as like not finding a partner, or you've been stuck in like a bad phase in your relationship. Look for things to improve with the Eight of Wands here. This is just, you know, a lot of excitement and a lot of change. But I feel like somebody here is just kind of like, it's like a big question mark. Like, what's going on here? Like, I'm not even aware of what's going on with my relationship and so, or what's going on in my love life. I don't know. But there's change and love around you. Now this row here, the King of Swords. Now the King of Swords, this is, you know, the suit of air, and it could be that they're speaking to someone who's an air sign. It could even be, you know, we have the Six of Cups here. It could even be that someone from the past, because you do have the Six of Cups, someone from the past who is an air sign returns. And it's a game changer because the Wheel of Fortune is here. This is a change you've been looking for. And look how it's lined up with the Eight of Wands, because the Eight of Wands also is a card of change and movement. Change and movement, change and movement. It's like a double message from Spirit this week. And when it comes to your love life, if you are confused and overwhelmed, that's going to change, especially, you know, because of the Wheel of Fortune. It's a major arcana. That means something significant comes and changes like everything. So it could be someone from your past. It could be someone who's an air sign. But generally, this king is not very connected to his emotions. This king would rather focus on his career. He's very mental. He's very kind of logical, rational, and does not deal well with emotions. And I feel like for some of you, there's something going on with the past, where the past in some way may be holding you back from the Wheel of Fortune, like you think too much about the past, or you have to be honest, because the King of Swords can represent truth and clarity. And clearly, ironically, clearly here there is no clarity with the Seven of Cups. It's a lack of clarity. It's being confused. It's being emotionally overwhelmed. So I feel like here you may have to kind of be honest with yourself about something regarding the past. Maybe a situation between you and your partner that has to change, that has to be healed in order to have this change from the Wheel of Fortune, where everything finally changes for you, your relationship moves along. Or it could be for those of you who are single, that you have to be honest and see the truth about something regarding your past that finally kind of sets you free. This message, you know, this week is really kind of seeing there's a lot of emotion. Like there's just cups cards everywhere, which means that people are going to be emotionally overwhelmed, whether you're single or in a relationship. You're going to be thinking about love in some way. And I'm noticing that in this reading, we only have one major arcana, and it's the Wheel of Fortune. So they're really kind of saying that this, you know, it's time for change. And that's what Spirit was saying. Like, even if you don't want it, it's still happening. And there's a double message of change here. But I kind of feel like there's this energy of just like confusion and like not really kind of knowing not knowing what's going on in your relationship, kind of like being in limbo, but yet like love is here. And change in some way also, I mean, the past is there. Like the past either has to be healed or the past returns. But I feel like, you know, there's a lot of loving cards in this reading, and we have the Three of Cups, the Queen of Cups, the Page of Cups. Clearly, they're trying to bring you together with someone who is marriage material, or they're just giving you a message that your relationship is healing or that your relationship will be restored in some way. But I feel also with the Queen of Cups, I'm getting the message that this only happens when you have an open heart, when you're really kind of connected to your emotions. Look at what's going on right here. This is being very connected to your emotions. This is being very open-hearted. This is being very disconnected from your emotions. This is being more mental, analyzing everything. And this is being just very confused. So I feel like the key also for some of you is just be like open. Be open to change. That was a message from Spirit. I'll say it again. Just be open to change. Don't be kind of stubborn and seeing like a particular outcome, because it's just like this. There's very kind of like unexpected energy around relationships. So I feel like as long as you're open to change, then you will be happy with the outcome. Okay, everyone, I will end this reading here. I hope you enjoyed it.